Hi, my name's Sebastian Flores. This is my video project for Chemistry 1093, and I'm going to be doing my video project on Big Pharma, specifically desmopressin, which I know most people haven't heard of, but for me, desmopressin is honestly a very big part of my life, ever since I was a child. So, let's get started. So whenever you think of desmopressin, you should definitely think about blood. Not in a sad, scary way of like, oh my God, like something awful, like, I don't know. But I just want you to think about blood while you're thinking of this and watching this video. So when you think of blood and you cut yourself, what is another thing you probably think of? Clotting, right? You want your blood to clot, just so that nothing else, make that way your body just doesn't, eventually run out of blood and you don't want to bleed out, right? Because that would be terrible. But think about blood clotting. Personally, for me, my body doesn't actually clot blood very well. And so that's when this beautiful, amazing medication comes into play. Desmopressin. This tablet actually looks like the tablet that I usually get, but that's besides the point. What exactly is desmopressin? Well, here's the chemical formula for desmopressin. Very, very hard to understand and hard to read. So I'm sure Dr. Frederick can definitely help us understand it. But before we even talk about desmopressin, I would like to talk about von Willebrand disease, which is actually a condition that desmopressin actually treats. So what exactly is it? So in simple terms, it's just a blood disorder that makes my blood struggle to clot, meaning if I were to cut myself, I would keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding. Now, the process of desmopressin actually working in the body is very, very difficult to actually explain. So here's like a perfect diagram of how it actually works in the body and what it has to happen, the manufacturing behind it, so on and so forth. Of course, this is a freshman level course, so I am gonna just give you like the simple terms, and we're not gonna be, reading and talking about every single portion. It'll just take way too long. But in simple terms, desmopressin starts off as an antidiuretic peptide that has been changed by combining it with cysteine and substituting it with an 8L-arginine by an 8D-arginine molecule. It also works to replace vasopressin, which is a hormone meant to regulate salt and water in the body. Now, how expensive is desmopressin? Well, we all live in America, of course, and Big Pharma makes so much money every single year off of medications. So the answer to this is very, very expensive. Big Pharma actually made about $20.9 million dollars in 2020 alone. So yeah, big companies are making big bucks off of this medication, and unfortunately, they're making money off of this disease. It's estimated that desmopressin is actually able to save thousands of lives every year while being responsible for just two deaths since its creation because of seizures. But how exactly does desmopressin work in the body?
So it enters the body orally, which is more common administered at hospitals, while the intranasal form of desmopressin is actually mostly administered at home. Desmopressin will then promote water absorption in a collecting duct of the nephron. It is then absorbed into the blood, where it will be produced more blood cells aiding the clotting of blood, and this occurs because of good old osmosis. Of course, tiny little pill that I remember taking. It was actually smaller than this and it was white, and I put it in my little mouth. And then afterwards, I had to deal with all the side effects of it, which included dizziness, runny nose, headache, nausea, redness on the face, vision problems, fever, and chills. So, all these side effects coming with this really amazing medication that I benefited so much from, it pretty much was not worth it at times. But I mean, hey, it was between life or death. So either way, I was happy taking it, honestly. So, one thing that I do want you to remember clicking off from this video is one thing. Next time you cut yourself and you start bleeding, do not take your blood clotting for granted. I wish I had it.